Thank you for watching Creative Backstories. My name is Kendal Brown, creative and entrepreneur. I'm on a mission to inspire others through the power of creativity. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Taylor, also known as JayLaTay. Jeremy is a DJ and event host from Philadelphia who brings people together through music and culture. In this conversation, we talk about his journey in music, from singing to becoming a DJ to curating unforgettable events. Enjoy the conversation. Let's start with you introducing yourself however you like to introduce yourself, whatever is important to you.
Well, we'll start with, first of all, I want to say thank you for considering me and thinking of me. You know, thousands of people probably. So to be part of this conversation means a lot. And, I know as a creative, you may feel like this or may not, but oftentimes you don't feel seen, even though we're doing all these things and all these people are around. It can also be this lonely space where you don't feel like you have the support and or you don't have the people or the things that you want to have. And even though it's going and things or whatever, sometimes it's not what you want, and it can make you kind of feel less than. So to be seen and for you to know that, and to the things that I'm doing aren't going on deaf ears or blind eyes, obviously. And so thank you for that. That is some reassurance I actually needed to hear today. So I appreciate it. Um, Again, my name is Jeremy Taylor, aka JayLaTay, which is my DJ name, my business name. JayLaTay Entertainment LLC is my business name, and my DJ and host name, if you will, is JayLaTay, which is a conglomerate of all of my names. Um, my first name, my middle name, my last name. So it is literally authentically me, and that other name is also authentically me. So um, I kind of go by all of them. So even Jay is fine too. Um, as far as like this journey, is that where we are now? Do you want me to speak to that now, or where are we now? I'm sorry. I know you said
Yeah,
introduce. So
yeah. So let's start with kind of go back to the beginning. Because you are so connected to music, I would imagine that early on in your life you had these moments of transcendence and awareness of music. What are some of your first musical memories?
ooh, this is a great question. I am gonna, obviously church was one thing, right? I think back in the day when I was a kid, they called it the Sunshine Band, which was the babies, basically the baby squires, and nobody needed the note. We just needed to sing. The notes didn't matter. So that was a cool thing back then.
Whosoever will.
Whosoever will, bring them crying baby and let
And
them
you
sing.
grew up in St. Louis, right?
That's correct. St. Louis, Missouri. It's my stomping ground. Now I'm in Philadelphia, which is been here most of my life. Actually, I've been here longer than I lived in St. Louis. But St. Louis is definitely a big piece of my life and my upbringing, and has shaped who I am for sure. But I'm definitely a Philadelphian at this point on my journey. So, um, yeah. Like, did I answer the question?
Yeah. So tell me more about some of your first musical
Oh,
memories.
yes.
What
So, Sunshine Band was a big one,
mhm.
and then I'll go back to something that really sticks out to me. I had a teacher in middle school, and I was always singing. I sang in grade school as well, and I think I had some good music teachers then too. But I had this particular music teacher. His name was Mr. Turner. I'll never forget him. And he had the weirdest classroom. His class was like in a stairwell. Like, what is happening? And as I go back to that, I'm like, why were we in the stairwell? And it was music class. Like, the echoes, like, I don't know why that even existed like that. But Mr. Turner, I remember we were, for that particular class, we were going to do a play. And I don't remember the play or which the name of the play was, but I remember there was a song He ain't heavy, he's my brother. And so I would sing all the time. I sang in the choir. He used to be like, man, you know you can sing? Like I was like, I mean, yeah, I sing in church and they have me singing this and doing that and whatever, but he was like, no, 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 no. Like, yeah, let's work on some things. So anyway, this was a solo uh during this play, or I don't know what it was. It may have been a variety show at school. I don't know. But so I sang this song, and back then I was a soprano. I was in middle school. I was a soprano. And so I remember the song was so high, like up there. That's where I was singing in regular natural voice. And I'll never forget, like, after I sang that song at this show thing, uh, one of the guys, one of them dudes, and yeah, dog, I play basketball, football, soccer, baseball, what? Yeah, he came up to me and he was like, I've heard that song before, but I've never heard it like that. He was like, bro, you sang that. And I was like, thank you. I just did not expect. Are you there? You still there? I did not expect
Hmm.
that to come from him at all. And anyway, so thus my musical journey had already began, but I was like starting to feel it and believe it. It was like, okay, well maybe there is some. It was a little more than what I thought. It ain't just sitting up at the church and singing high and trying to beat out all the rest of the sopranos, letting them know you can't touch me, girl. I'm the best soprano in this section. Okay, so um, so that was kind of the fundamental piece, and Sunshine Band to choir at church to singing at school and being part of a lot of the musical things. And I think from that point, and that may have been sixth grade. I don't think there was a program or a musical or anything that involved music that I wasn't a part of from that
Hmm.
point. And I appreciate Mr. Turner for that because he saw something that I wasn't working on or trying to
Yeah.
develop, if you will. I was trying to get to medical school. I'm like, I'm working. I'm trying to get so I can go, do some stuff with the peoples in the medicine. And but he was really encouraging me, and he's like, "This won't take away from that. This will add to you, add to your life, add to whatever." And I was like, "Okay." But he was a great teacher. He's passed on. I don't know when he died. I want to say maybe 2012, 2015, something like that. But he was great inspiration to moving me, as well as like my church life, that moved me into kind of the musical realm. And it's well that helped inspire me to build and create with it and not be afraid, that I am capable, that I do have the stuff. Like
Hmm.
they were integral parts of that particular
Yeah.
journey. And so uh, that's kind of where it all began, if you will. And the rest is kind of history as it relates to like singing and music. And then when I kind of moved on from the church world, which was many, many years later, I struggle and actually currently still kind of struggle with what to do with that part of my music, what to do with singing. And, the irony is that my DJing, which I started DJing, I guess, am I going too fast? Because I know you got questions, so I don't want to be like
No,
trumping on your question.
no, no. Let it flow. Yeah.
Okay. And so like later on, DJing, I think I want to save some of that. So later on, DJing became another part of that musical journey, something that I didn't, it was kind of like your thing. Like I was hosting events and doing things, and I had DJ friends, and I would look at the turntables and they would be like, come on, press that button. I would like, yeah, let me, all wrong. But I always felt something behind there, and I just didn't know what that was. And so many things that evolved from those moments as well. But
Hmm.
that was the beginnings of my music, and then thus, here we are now doing something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So I, there are people who enjoy music, and then there are people who embody music. And my experience of you is that you embody music. So when or was there a specific time when music became more than just, notes that you were hearing, but it was something that just made you come alive, where you had an awareness that there was something about music and that there was something about music's connection with you that was different?
Hmm. I definitely say church was
Hmm.
a major piece of that. Um, what are some of the things they used to say? Oh, they probably still say that. But man, that anointing. I mean, yeah, some of the other terms like man, when you say the chair shook, the table turned over, those kind of terms, and I was like, I didn't really. I guess while I was singing, I didn't necessarily feel like it was this beam of light coming through my skull,
Hmm.
down through my mouth, and then I'm just doing what I felt, and I like the word embody, and thank you for thinking of me like that. I literally feel it. Like if I'm singing something, playing it via the turntable or on the radio, I literally feel it, and so like the words that are coming out, hopefully if it's something that obviously is dear to me in some way, I literally feel the vibrations of the music. Like maybe that sounds cliche, but in real
No,
life,
makes
like
sense.
I literally feel it. And so, and I used to only think that was a church thing. I was like, well, it's only the anointing. It's the Holy Ghost. That's the only thing that will make you feel it. The Holy Ghost. And then I went to a Patti LaBelle concert, and she was just singing "If Only You Knew How
Hmm.
Much I Do," and I got overwhelmed with emotion. I'll never forget that. I was like, well, wait, man.
Right, right.
They had said
Same,
down the
same
street.
energy. Yep.
Exactly. They said that was the.
The Holy Ghost.
I said, man, now where the people that didn't say this? And so, anyway, I realized how powerful words were, how they were given to you, where they came from the person that was giving them, where they probably were in that moment while singing, and how that is conveyed. And it don't matter if it's religious or it doesn't matter. Like when you convey or emote something in your words, and how you style it, how you say it, pause. Pauses
Hmm.
matter. Take a breath, girl. The breath matters. All those things. And when you can emote that way through your song, through your voice, it can change things. It can change how you feel. It can create a feeling. And so anyway, those were, moments that I knew that there was something different about me even. And when somebody can come to me and say, man, what you did today for me, even though I was just doing me, what you did today changed me. It changed my life. It changed my feeling, changed my emotion. Those things were and are, and now I'm finding that in my DJing, which is
Hmm.
crazy. Which I never thought that would be the thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I answered the question. I feel like I was on the
Yes.
tangent.
No, no, that's exactly what I was asking. So you mentioned kind of evolving out of the church space. Can you talk to
Mm-hmm.
me about that journey and what that has looked like?
Oh Lord, I thought you said this was a short time. You look good.
Likewise. Oh,
Mm, need to put some bourbon in there. You tardy. You
just,
tardy. Okay.
just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah.
So talk to me about your spiritual journey.
So are we supposed to cry on this, or is it? I don't need to. That I would say has been one of my, you're going to hear how I say this, it's been one of my most prized possessions. The reason I say it that way is because I know without that journey, I wouldn't be, it has added quite a bit to my life and molded me into part of my humanness is associated with that piece of my life. Even though I've moved on, I recognize how important it was for me and how grateful I am to have had it. Like, and grateful that I moved on as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I grew up so let me start with this one. Parents, my mom was Baptist slash Pentecostal. My dad was also Baptist. My parents were married, and then somewhere along their journey, my dad became a Jehovah's Witness, to get the story short. And part of the Jehovah's Witness, part of their core belief is to bring your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you convert, then you bring your family. And if they don't want to come, then you do away with it. Basically, there's probably some nuance, but you do away with your family after that because they want everybody to be part of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that because it was maybe 9 or 10. My parents were really dealing with some emotional stuff between them. So it was always kind of tense in the house and all that stuff. But anyway, when he moved on, uh, they divorced eventually some years later. And uh, my mom wasn't a big church person, even though we went. I felt like at some point, she would send us, and she's there at the house. But whatever she was going, all right, get ready. Come on, get up. Grandma on the way. Whatever she probably wanted to mind her business and be a
Mm-hmm.
grown woman and live her life and do whatever. And this was the moment she had. She knows she had at least 3 hours. Right. That's out of the house. So I think, some of that was that. I never got a chance to really ask that much. Um, so, some of that was with my grandmother. And then when we got a little older, she kind of let us choose. It was kind of like, well, you can go if you want, but you don't have to. I was a singer. I'm always singing. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going. Jesus said, you got to be there. It's in the Bible. It said, be there today. You didn't see it? It would be me. It would be me. Be there today, thus saith the Lord. And so I kind of moved the sticks for me in that work.
Mm-hmm.
My sister and my brothers were kind of like, oh, she's there. Oh, okay. And I was like, no, I'm going. I'm going. Number one, my main reason was the music. Let's be
Right.
clear. My main reason was because I love the music and I wanted to learn. I wanted to be a part. I wanted to sing. I wanted to shout. I wanted to do all the things that the people was doing. And so in that, I found another church it was a non-denominational church. I was still a teenager. I was in school, and one of the girls that I used to ride to school with, who became like my god sister over the years, but we used to ride to school together for years. And sometimes my mom would take us and drop us off when we missed the bus. Anyway, I kind of became her brother, her other brother, sister too, but my sister wasn't really into the church like that. And so we started going to this church. The name of the church is Unity Chapel. And I mean, when I started going there, it's a family church, small church. Everybody there is family for the most part. Non-denominational slash Pentecostal slash PAW. They had switched throughout the years. They had switched I mean, it's family church. They switched denomination, do some different things, whatever.
That's a lot.
I was a kid. I just wanted to sing. I don't know what they was doing with all that at the time, right? So even in the midst of that, like things were cool, and they just had this dynamic choir for this little small little church. The choir was amazing. I was like, this is crazy. So I eventually joined the church. I went there for years. And everything, for the most part, was okay. Minus however I feel about the indoctrination and or
Mm-hmm.
the kind of spiritual aspects of it as I got older. I still really appreciated growing up there. But I had this moment where this minister, I'll just say this minister, she was pretty prominent in that church. It was two ministers and another lady who was also a minister who I had, called my aunt because the girl that I was telling you about, this was her actual aunt. But I spent so much time with this family that I called her aunt too. And so she is somebody that I held dear to me. And then these other two ladies were ministers of the church who I respected and, just because who they were. And there was one day that I think we were having an evening service. This is right at morning service it was about to be over. Like, I think the bishop was up preaching or about to preach, or I can't remember exactly what was happening. And they had called me, "Oh, Jeremy, can you come downstairs to the basement?" And I was like, "Okay." What could they want? It's Sunday, we had church, the choir just sings, so I have to get up and sing. So, and then, so they had, now I must tell you also, I haven't told many people this story, and I'm glad that I'm able to share it. It's making me a little emotional to speak about it because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it changed me, this particular
Yeah.
instance. So I get into this room, and the three ladies are literally sitting in front of me. So obviously, I'm quite confused because number one, service is going on. Number one. Number two, the bishop isn't present. And what are we doing? And why am I meeting with y'all? I don't do anything with them. And three, what the hell could we need to talk about in the middle of service? Ministers.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one minister in particular, she had this son. He used to date my sister, and he was way too old to be dating her. But they used to date or whatever. That ain't my business ish. And so anyway, she says to me, she started out the conversation. I know you're probably wondering why you're here. And I was like, of course I am. And she said, well, it has been brought to our attention, or I should say, I had been talking to God. And I believe that you may have some homosexual tendencies. And I said, I'm sorry, what does that mean? My heart is beating out of my chest because I'm like, first of all, two things. Damn, they got me. That was the first thought. Like, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing nothing. I swear I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, how they get me? How they get me? So it was fear. The second thought was, what she's saying is some bullshit because I felt like she was just making it up because she wanted to call me out and call me gay
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. And so her and the one of the other that other minister was down there. And now they're going back and forth. Both, well, one of them definitely was illiterate, and the other one was, who she is. She used to talk about Jesus making love to her sometimes during service. She used to say that. What she said, I definitely know one time for sure, but she said it multiple times. I can't. But anyway, so these two are sitting there, and then the woman that I called aunt, my play aunt or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to go, was also sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say much, but her being present is an agreement, in my
Right.
opinion. So I was definitely taken aback because I would not expect that from her to be present with some bullshit like that. And anyway, they continued and we went on this journey. And she said something to me about her son saw me. I said, your son ain't saw shit. My exact words to her. We're in the house of the Lord. I said, exactly. And why am I here? Like, what is happening right now? Where's the pastor? I can hear him talking. Does he know y'all got me down here like this? Like, is this an intervention? What is happening? So anyway, we continued, and of course, obviously, by the end of that conversation, they had mentioned some other kids and some other stuff that I didn't care about at all, and or that didn't I didn't impact anything that they were doing. These kids is doing all kind of stuff. I saw it with my eyes, but I could care less because I wasn't dealing with none of that, and I couldn't care less rather. And so after that conversation, it literally changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I'm quite appreciative. On the other hand, I was torn. I was torn apart. That was a very tough time for me to rationalize my humanness, be myself,
Mm-hmm.
um, try to figure out why I was being demonized. Meanwhile, she talking about her son, but he messing with little girls. And uh, I really couldn't understand why I was singled out like that. I hadn't done anything, not in the church, that would cause someone to seek me out and have a conversation slash intervention with me. I had done nothing.
Did you say how old you were?
I didn't. I think I want to say maybe 19, 18,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, maybe a little older because I think I had a car. I bought my first car for myself like 17. So it had to be 18, 19, something like that. Maybe 20. It's pushing it. But I'm pretty sure I was a teenager. And but it hurt me to my core. But it also let me know, and excuse my words, fuck y'all. I'm gonna move
Mm-hmm.
on. I need to figure out what I need to do with my spiritualness, these parts of me that I also still enjoy, that I feel are connected to the divine, but I can't do it here. Thank you for letting
Mm-hmm.
me know that. I have to be somewhere where now I can develop all parts of me. Irony is there's this church that everybody knew about in St. Louis. They called it the gay church. Everybody called it the gay church. But guess what? They had the best pastor. They had the best choir. They had the best services. Everything was the best. They had the best robes. They was the best. But the people hated on them low key, but they always wanted them at their stuff. Invite them to the concert. Invite them to the. They always went because they had the best pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could was a better orator than him in that time frame. No choir in the city was better than that choir. There were great choirs in the city, but that choir was a different level. And we used to talk about them. And, I didn't really say a whole lot. But the other church people, like, lesbians. That's what they used to say. Low key. But now, as I got older, I realized that most of it was jealousy because they was like, well, how the
Right,
pastor and
right.
lesbians sing like that? They're supposed to be dying. Why they how they do this? Why the pastor that good? What is happening? So anyway, so I was part of that too. And then in this, I I was breaking down, and so I started looking for a spiritual place where I could be myself. Well, what I was learning to be me, and then also in that spiritual space that I was used to. And I started searching online, and I found this thing called TFAM, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And it was like detailed, like whoever you are, no matter how you blah 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 blah. It was a mission statement and all this stuff, and I was like, "Oh wait, they got churches that are like part of this organization." So I'm looking through. I'm like, I may be able to find one. Lo and behold, that exact church, where all the fags went, as they said, was on the list. And I said, "Oh, we got one here." And so I said, "You know what? Next Sunday, I'm gonna go." And the name of that church was Higher Heights Christian Church. led by the one and only Bishop.
Wyatt I.
Wyatt I. Greenlee. And that first service, I joined. They overwhelmed me. I had never been in an experience spiritually where there were people just being whoever they are, like, and not hiding it. You know what I mean? Not having to feel like they need to do something different to be accepted in the space. They were just accepted. And, there were husbands and husbands there. There were wives and wives there. There were partners and kids and families and all these things that I had made up, right? Because people said there ain't nothing but the families over there. I made up these things. There were mothers of the church, deacons, all the things that I knew to be what they were. And I was like, well, why do the people been lying? This is a regular place. So I joined that Sunday, and well, I want to say I might have gone to the convention first, actually, because after I left the Unity Chapel, I think the conference was coming up, the TFAM or whatever it was called back then. I think it was called something
Fellowship,
different.
Fellowship
Fellowship,
2000.
yes, yes.
2000.
Fellowship, exactly. And so I went to the conference in San Francisco. I think that's where it was that particular year first. But I already known about Higher Heights, obviously, because I was from the area. Everybody knew about it because it was and the best pastor. So after that, and I think I joined right after that. But anyway, I that changed my life. So I'm grateful for that meeting that them old biddies had with me to degrade me and belittle me in the name of whatever they were saying it was in. And because it led me to a place that freed me.
It pushed you out the nest. Yeah.
And I'm just so glad to be free, man. You know what I mean? And to be able to also enjoy that spiritual piece of me and still be myself and not feel like I have to do anything else or I have to listen to some old women with no husbands and hairy coochies. Sorry, should this go in there? I'm sorry. I apologize. But I mean, that experience taught me something about people, and it let me know that people will blame everything on the Jesus and the
Right.
God, and while meanwhile doing whatever they want and saying whatever they want and saying they heard it in a dream and last night and 30 days and whatever they do, all that stuff they do. And so I'm so grateful that I got free from that. And then now I've moved on even from that, from the open and affirming space and moving kind of to my own spiritual space. And that was based off of some other things that I encountered actually in the open and affirming space. And so it had helped me to kind of move out, but I appreciate every second I had being part of like TFAN and the fellowship. Like it just let me know about being free to be me and even in the spiritual practice. And so grateful for that. And I hope I answered the question. I feel like I
You did.
answered.
You
Okay.
did. You did. Yeah. Yeah. I knew some of that journey, but I didn't know it all. How would you define yourself, or how would you describe yourself now? Uh, what is your
Mhm.
religious identity,
I don't really have a
or
religious. Yeah,
or
I
if
don't
it's
really.
not religious?
Yeah, I don't really have a
Okay.
religious
Hmm.
identity. Um, I talk to the ancestors a lot, if you will, in prayer or in my time of being with divine. I mostly talk to ancestors and I refer to them as them and they and y'all. And,
Hmm.
as them, since that energy never was destroyed, apparently, surround me today, surround my family, all of the ancestors, wherever you are, the energies of above, below, around, whatever. That's kind of my, so I just call it um, in the spirit. That's all. There's
Hmm.
no particular name. I don't call any particular being or entity. but the ancestors usually, and the divine energy from wherever that comes from.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular or any thing, person, experience that you would point to that helped shape that particular practice of being open to the ancestors? It's a part of my spiritual practice now. That's very much in line with where I am. So I'm curious as to what got you there.
Yeah, actually, uh, Bishop Carlton Pearson um, was a big part of my life, and not many people know, but I served as an adjutant for him for several years uh, after he had joined TFAM.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the one. They used to send me to cities or whatever. I go pick them up from the airport. I'm in New York. I'm in DC, especially East Coast stuff. New York, DC, Baltimore, that kind of world. I was always his assistant, and I've had I had so many conversations with him in the car. That man, he was literally from the divine. Like he was transcendent. Like talking to him about anything, you could feel it. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was transcendent. And so in our conversations, even him trying to find his footing, like we would talk a lot about ancestral energy, um, energy in general, um, the impact of that energy and what rallying it could do. So that was some of the conversation that he had. He hadn't quite got where I was kind of moving to for whatever reasons. I mean, he was a bishop of a mega church and a mega understanding of something, and I'm sure he had things to fight even in his time of being free and being liberated from some of those things. He still had to fight some of his, that stuff in the back that from the
Mm-hmm.
upbringing.
It's
Um,
formation. Yeah.
yeah, formation, great word. And so I attribute some of that to him and some of the great chats that we had. One thing that I'll never forget that he told me, he said, "There's an interesting thing about love, son." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Well, we really probably love ourselves and how we are. We say we love other people, but what we really do is we love how we're experiencing ourselves when we're with those people." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, understanding how love works is when you're in the presence of someone, we've been told to believe, or our first initial thought is, oh my God, I just love hanging out with him. He is the best. I just love him." He said, "But really it's more selfish." He said, "It's you enjoy how you're experiencing you when
Mm-hmm.
you're with said person." He said, "So the person you really love is really yourself." He said, but what makes that love real is being with the people. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. AirPods, they do die. Mm-hmm.
That's why I usually do one so I can flip to the other one, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I had two.
Same.
Um, can you still hear me? Are we good?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry
We're
about
good.
that. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
But so that was a big piece. He was a big piece of kind of letting me know that I am free to choose how I want to worship, really,
Mm-hmm.
how I want to speak to divine. He was a big part of kind of giving me the okay. You know what I mean? It was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the nudge, like, you don't have to even believe shit I'm saying, really. He's like, find your path. All of it leads back to ancestral
Mm-hmm.
energy, the divine. All of it leads back to it, no matter what they tell you. And so he was a major piece in helping me to feel and know that I can evolve and I can change how I think. And I don't have to do it because everybody else thinks a certain way or this is how it's supposed to be. And he helped to free me of that to help me to find my way to free myself from that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate him every second.
Mm-hmm. He was an amazing soul, or is an amazing soul.
Is an amazing soul.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Miss him so much.
Same.
Um, and Jesse,
How
and
about it?
Jesse.
How about it?
uh, so tell me about your evolution as a DJ. What were the pivotal parts of that journey?
Yeah. So I had began messing around with turntables maybe 2010. So kind of let me bring this full circle. So I started having parties years ago out of my apartment, whether they were, excuse me, this is before I got a house, before any of that. Like my little apartment, I have something for Valentine's, or I have
Mm-hmm.
a Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving shindig. And, I was kind of known to kind of throw these like cool little events. And
I
of course,
remember.
over time, they just evolved. They became bigger. There were more things. And then I got a house. So then I was like, hey, everybody come on. And I think my biggest, well, the party that really kind of turned everything around was my Halloween party. I remember the year, I want to say 2018, 2017. No, this is 2015 actually. So uh it I did the invite, had the people. It was over 200 people. Not all at once, but I was like, okay, this, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to do something different with this. This can't. Uh-uh. And so I was like, all right. In the midst of that, I have friends who are DJs, and so I will always go behind the table. I can feel something like just touch the button. I didn't know what the hell I was
Mm-hmm.
doing, but I don't know. I was just connected to it. I could feel it. I don't know. It was just something about it, but I never really did anything. I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to learn something new, and I just don't want to have to do that with my life in general right now. And so anyway, but my DJ friends, DJ Showtime Live specifically, he would always encourage me, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Nah. So I let him play, and actually, I'm pretty good at being on the mic in any realm, right? If I'm hosting, if
That
I'm
you are.
singing. So I, my boy DJ Showtime, and we were doing an event, my very first event. So I feel like I'm going too fast. So Halloween kind of set it up where I thought, I should probably start an LLC. I should start a business. I should do something to start creating events. Like I
Mm-hmm.
hit up some people that I trusted, or that I believed in, or I went to their events to ask for help. But, I was young. In my mind, it wasn't about competition. It was about, creating space. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
I had a handle on some of the space. So none of those people really responded to me. Not all of them were local. It was just one localish person who is in DC actually, still throws parties. And I sent him a message like via DM or something at that time. It was like 2015, hey, I would love to shadow you, or, have some conversations just so I can get what I should be doing. And I mean, he literally left me on red. Didn't didn't respond. Still to this day, I see him every now and then, and it's still not nice. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
one of my least
Yeah.
favorite personality types is nice nasty. I don't do the
Mm-hmm.
best with that particular personality type, and he's kind of that. So thank goodness I didn't do any
Right.
extra with him, because I don't do well. I don't work well with that particular personality type. So it's tough for me to get through it. So anyway, as it evolved, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna just do my thing, and whatever. I'm gonna go for it. So randomly one night, I was driving in this area in Philadelphia known as Fishtown,
Mm-hmm.
and um, there was this um, spot being kind of built, or it was done being built, but they were painting it or something. I was like, wow, that is a cool place. I wonder what they let me have an event there. I didn't really know what I needed to do. Like, I write a proposal? Do I call somebody? Do I show up when they open? Like, what do I do? How should the deal look? And what should I be saying? These are all the things. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. So I wrote a proposal, and the name of the place was called Punchline Comedy Club. And I wrote a proposal, emailed it, not knowing who's gonna answer, if anybody even cared at all. Like, are they gonna say anything? And 2 days later, the GM called me, the general manager, and she said, I would love to have a meeting with you. I love your proposal. Can we chat? And I was like, huh? Absolutely. And so I went down, had the chat with her. My point is telling you this is how I got to DJing. So that's when my very first party started. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I had the very first one on December 3rd, which just passed out. So that was the anniversary. I should have said something. That was yesterday. And December 3rd, 2015. I didn't know what was going to happen, bro. I said maybe it'd be one person. Maybe we get my friends. At least it'd be 10 here.
And that was around the time when I heard You Can Make This.
Don't make me run up out of here.
Yay!
Um, yeah. And so I started this event, very first event, 196 people.
Wow.
I was literally blown away. Like,
And you knew you had something.
I knew I had something. And in 2015, we wasn't sending texts and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Social media wasn't what it is. Like, the
Right.
way to promote, you promote it on there, but a lot of people didn't have it. They didn't have Instagram. They had Facebook maybe. And so it was still putting flyers on the cars back then, posting posters up in the random market, and
Mm-hmm.
going to the bodega in the neighborhood and posting something over there. That's literally what we were doing back then. And so to get that type of response, the very first one, I was like, okay, I hear y'all. I hear y'all. I hear you. And thus, I'm still doing parties right now. But in the midst of that, I was still kind of messing around with the turntables. Like, yeah, not for me. And so that was 2015 to 2020. 2020 happened. COVID got crazy, right? And I was like, okay, since this, I did like a semi-retirement, like a early retirement-ish. And I was like, I need to add some things to my life. And so what am I going to do? And I was like, well, look at that turntable over there. You know what? Let me go in. And so I was already playing, but nowhere near like that. I literally took a deep dive every day, hours, practice, download music, learning, reading, calling people, going to events, sitting behind the DJ, watching. I mean, I took a deep dive, and I ended up doing. I was really afraid. I was like, I'm never going to play in front of people ever. This would just be my friends, maybe. I'm never going to play in front of anybody. And my boy, DJ Showtime Live, he's connected me to a lot of things. He was like, no, man, listen, there's this app called Bigo, Bigo. He's like, I'm on there. I make money. He's like, come on there now, man. He was like, you could do something with the music. While you practicing and learning, you could be on there making money. And I was like, really? So I was like, okay. I downloaded the app. Man, scared as shit. I'm like, yeah. I don't know what he's talking about. I am nervous. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to come to my page. Anyway, I just kept practicing literally every day, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours a day, literally. And one day I got the courage and I said, okay, we're going to do it. I got on there. Nobody came. So I was like, that's all right. I'm going to keep going. Because number one, I can practice while I'm on here. So, and you make money by being on. And so I started doing it every day. And then at some point I felt even more secure in what I was doing. This was about a year in. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start something. So I started a morning show called Coffee. It was music in the morning. So people who were working or at home, they got, 2 hours of music from a live DJ through the phone. They could put on their speaker, they could put on whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you could listen to me. I'm talking, I'm on the mic, I'm also playing the music. And when I say that went crazy, I was making a nice little chunk of money. And I had this morning show every morning that lots of people on the app knew about. How would that yeah, it got crazy. I had like 20,000 followers. It was
Wow.
just dumb. It was dumb stuff. And I wasn't that good. You know, I was just really learning, I wasn't that good. And I was just working through it and just trying to
You were
learn.
better. You were better than you thought you were, I'm sure.
Yeah, you sound like Showtime. That's exactly what he was saying. But I was like, I'm not that good. And I mean, it's 300 people.
Trained in the church to talk in a mic, you were better than you thought you were.
Come on. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I will agree.
Trained in a black church.
Oof. My. Yes, that is true. So that is definitely a strength, and it's a strength I still have, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful for that, which also goes back to how things are full circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the DJing had become a big piece of my life now, for sure. And now from not wanting to do it at all to now being booked. I just got booked for Amsterdam to for World Pride. I played
Oh,
in
when we
Brazil.
going?
That's next August. So come on. I played in Brazil last year. I played in Cancun last year. I played. I I don't know. I mean, I'm just so grateful. I literally am grateful that anybody cares. If anybody asks me, I'm not a fan of any of my mixes that are online, but people play them all the time. I'm like, I'm not a fan. I want to delete them all, so and start over again. And everybody's like, people who listen to it. I'm like, I mean, I know I don't sound like that anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
sound better. They're like, what's wrong? It's me critiquing myself, but um, that's kind of how that all evolved, and thus here we are now. And not only do I have events, but I can also play my events. I book other DJs too because I don't want the people to be too tired of me. But I book other DJs, and now I'm working on a partnership DJ group, like a conglomerate. Myself and another DJ, we're gonna start building this brand of like duo DJing together,
Mm-hmm.
and he's dynamic. His name's DJ Apollo, by the way. Dynamic, and I just appreciate people who want to really mess with me. You got other DJs, many that I've met through the years, many that I am in kind with, that are friends of mine, uh, even heterosexual DJs, but often not invited into those spaces, whether it's DJing or hosting. And I'm one of the best hosts on earth. I'm in the top 10. I'm up there somewhere. Let's say a top 100 of the billions of people. But I'm really good at it. And instead of hiring me because I'm gay, I'm out, or whatever, I mean, they'll hire someone subpar, or they'll
Mm-hmm.
bring in someone who is okay. And those do affect me at times. Like, I feel like, especially if the people call themselves my friend or in acquaintance with me in some way.
Yeah.
I often have interesting feelings as it relates to that. But again, DJing has been one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And I am so grateful I took a chance and I jumped out there, and my friend encouraged me, DJ Showtime Live. He encouraged it. And he was like, no, I'm telling you, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. Just do it. And as well as my partner encouraging me, nah, he's fine. I know he was upstairs like, oh God, turn it down. while I'm messing up the whole time. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry. And all that stuff, my earpod. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm sorry. You're gonna be over trying to
No, you good.
edit
You
this.
good.
Okay, all right.
You good.
And so I know he was over it as well. And speaking of, we just got engaged a few weeks ago. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And so I know some of that probably drove him crazy, but he never was like, "Baby, just please do something different. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
This is not for you." Always encourage me, and I would be hours. I was just playing music over and over, all types of stuff, going in the house, playing some gospel, going to R&B, playing hip hop, playing some trap, playing hours, just learning, hearing. What's so interesting about DJing is coming from the church world and singing. Everything is listening, hearing. You got to know your notes. You got to know the phrase. You got to know what's happening after this particular breakdown. All of that
When something will work and when it won't work. Yeah.
facts.
Mm-hmm.
So that training was pivotal in my DJing. Being able to hear music, know notes, understand music, and some theory even. And that goes back to Mr. Turner, understanding
Mm-hmm.
some music theory, understanding how notes work and sounds and what a snare is and what a kick is and what a big bass is or any of those things.
Minor and
And
major. Yep. Mm-hmm.
minor, majors, actually, exactly. Knowing your
Mm-hmm.
key, understanding if
Mm-hmm.
something's in key or not, just
Right.
right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so grateful for that. And I think that is why I progressed pretty quickly in the DJ world because of that particular training. So I'm forever grateful to that.
What do folks tell you they experience in the spaces that you curate?
Well, I've heard a few things. Most recently, I DJ in DC once a month. I'm a resident at their bar down there. It's called Thirst. It's a black-owned, one of the
Mm-hmm.
only black-owned LGBTQ plus bars in the country. And I'm one of the residents. I'm there about once a month. And I remember very recently I played there, and this person was about to leave, and they said to me, "I don't think I've ever been to a party where I laughed, cried, and shook my ass." And I said, "Oh," and they said that is a good thing. And they were from Alabama or somewhere, and they said, "I thank you for giving me that experience."
Wow.
And also sang because I'm gonna play some sing-songy music always because of
Mm-hmm.
course that's kind of so usually in my set, depending on where I am, I'm definitely gonna bring you some sing-song and everybody's gonna be singing guaranteed. So that really that really made me feel great that he said he had an experience. He was like, I've never done all three of those things in a party. Yeah. And
Wow.
he was like, thank you for giving me that. And I was like, thank you for telling me that because I needed to hear it. And I didn't feel like my set was that great tonight. I needed to hear it, and he made me feel good and he let me know, like, nah, I don't care what you was feeling. We was feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that was really
Sure.
great. So that's one of the things, and of course, I've heard some other really cool things. So I'm just so grateful that people can, like, so they really don't have to, and they need it. It's
Yeah.
serious.
How have you been changed by DJing and
So you're trying to make me.
curating spaces?
um, um, as I told you earlier, trying to figure out kind of my spiritual path. Over the years, I'm kind of set now, but it was really hard not having that peace in my life. Church, that family, that environment. It was. really hard working through that. I didn't know what I was going to do with the spiritual piece of me that I wanted to express or experience even. And still there's somewhat of a search to figure out what to do with my singing. But what DJing has done for me, it has allowed me to add the music piece. And then
Mm-hmm.
now, don't give me a mic, 'cause I'm getting ready to tear this down. That has also allowed me to add singing in the way that I can without over the music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can incorporate my voice in my set, and that I never thought I would get to that. I didn't know that would be a thing that would
Mm-hmm.
make me feel um, encouraged, make me feel like I'm not out here lost. Like what they used to say back in the church, to turn you to reprobate mind. Is that what they said? I, it makes me feel like they was like yeah, they was lying.
Mm-hmm.
None of that was real. They made that up. I'm doing fine. And that has it incorporating those things into my sets. Being able to do that. I actually have an event coming up this Sunday that I created called Sunday Sundee Sunday service.
Mm-hmm.
And this event is gonna have gospel, R&B, R&B music, but it's kind of for those people like me who want to go to a service with a bar and a smoking section. And if you can get that, then they have time. And so the
Mm-hmm.
DMs I've been getting from the post, crazy. Wow, I needed this. I'll be there. Oh my gosh, where have this been? Wow, when did you create this? And all of those things. And so um, it's just maybe coming back. No,
Sorry
you
about
don't
that.
care. No worries.
It kicked me off.
No worries. No worries. Um,
DMs you've been getting.
so yeah, so I've been getting all these DMs like, wow, this is something I've been looking for. What you doing? You really doing this? Yeah,
Well, I sense that the next phase of what you're doing is just going to blow your mind, and because you've leaned into something, and you are gifted in ways that are so uncommon with your singing ability, and it's all going to make sense, even beyond what is happening right now and the ways in which you are understanding how it all fits together. It's really going to make sense in a way that's going to blow your mind. So
still
don't
trying to
don't
get me
don't.
to run up out of here, huh?
I'm going to leave it at that. But
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because because you're not in this to fleece the people, and you're not in this to run a game, but you're in this because it is an outgrowth of you, and you ain't trying to hustle nobody.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it unfold. Um, I want to kind of wrap things up by just giving you an opportunity to speak to somebody who is kind of at that place where you were in 2015 of kind of opening yourself to new possibilities and doing something that you've never done before in a way that you've never done it before. What would you say to a person who is like looking for a creative outlet, a way to connect with themselves and community and people who want to build community and people who want to curate space? Um, what would you What would you say?
Trust what you feel. I would say trust what you feel. Those things that we did as kids that maybe we thought we were tinkering, or it was a little childish kind of thing that may also evolve into something adult like. Sometimes we leave those things behind because we think those things are childish, and sometimes those things can were meant. They were there to add to our lives. And listen to it, and don't be afraid. And no matter what's happening, things are going to always talk you down. And when I say things, I'm using that lightly. I'm talking about people,
Mm-hmm.
situations, the work, your
Life.
car, your
Yeah.
life. All these things might tell you, you know, it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the time. You definitely don't have the money. These are things that happen in your head. You don't have the money, you don't have the time,
You're
and you
not
don't have the
wired to make it
support.
work.
Can't make it work. And so
Right.
we will talk ourselves out of all kind of shit. I must say, like my partner, he he went to college right after high school, went to Texas Tech, 3 years. Got to a place where they was like, okay, well, either you gonna stay 2 months, and so he had to make some decisions, and so he inspires me, and so recently, actually, he just graduated from Southern New Hampshire University with his degree, but he thought it was done, right? The people said down at the school,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't bring ain't no degree, but he found a way, and so he wretched around, as my grandmother would say, we wretched around and did something else, and he got it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel like oftentimes things will tell us that we can't make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And in real life, I think human beings are damn it resilient and amazing. And we have more power than we believe, whether we touch it, whether we speak it, whether we say it, whether we think it. So much power. And we need to know it. And I think so many things around us have made us not believe it or don't want to believe that we have the power. Obviously, there are many people that say, "Oh, you can manifest with your tongue, just say it." And I don't think it's that simple either. You know what I mean? It's a manifestation of the work.
Right.
The work
Right.
manifests
What's
the product.
authentic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think if I was to say it, that's what I would say. Like, do it. Whatever it is, try it. All you can do is not do well, and guess what? You can move on. Or you try it again. And sometimes you do have to keep trying it. And it'll work out. It or it won't. But you gotta keep going. And I know even with me and like my business, even with DJing right now, like even though yes, I'm getting booked and people are calling me, I'm doing birthday parties and graduations and retirements and all these things. Excuse me, I still often feel like I've got to be better. Um, there are DJs that I thought I would be around and with and working with for a long time that I'm not connected to at all. And probably some shiny stuff from them, not me. And um, that's its own thing because that's definitely hurtful. But beyond that, I hope people just don't. Sometimes you got to let things go, though, right? So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. There are moments where you have to say, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we tried, we tried, all right."
Learn the lesson.
Learn the
Yep.
lesson, next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think we also give up too quickly. And so we have to have some wherewithal, work it, see how it works, stay in there, keep going. Um, that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. And very much in line with what I want to communicate from these interviews. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to thank you. I don't know if I've ever told you, but the ways in which when I had this crazy idea of starting a church and you were coming down from Philly to help get things started, and the ways in which you were so faithful to that, and just the ways in which you've always shown up and been a bright light for me and for other people. Thank you. Thank you. And
Well,
thank you for this time
thank you.
tonight. Yeah.
You
I
knew you were trying to
appreciate you,
get me to
man.
run out of this house after this conversation. Thank you very much. That was a
I
very
appreciate.
pivotal part of my life, by the way.
Yeah.
I have so many memories from that. So I thank you because it shaped a lot of who I am. Not just that, but coming to DC, driving
Yeah.
down there, that whole thing,
Yeah. The
the
relationships. Yep.
relationships, everything,
Yep.
everything. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
thank you for thinking of me to pull me into that world. And some of that changed my life. So I'm appreciative to you
Thank
for
you.
that forever.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man. I'm not going to take any more of your time, but I appreciate you so much. Oh, tell people how to find you
Yes.
on the
Make sure,
socials.
yes, you can find me. Obviously, my name again is Jeremy, aka JayLaTay. Everyone calls me JayLaTay. So all of my social media, literally all of it, is JayLaTay. Luckily, I'm the only one. So Instagram, JayLaTay, TikTok, JayLaTay, Facebook, JayLaTay Entertainment. I don't have X or Twitter anymore, so I got rid of that. But I do have Blue Sky. And so that's
Hmm.
also JayLaTay. So you can JayLaTay, JayLaTay. Also my SoundCloud, JayLaTay. So you can find my mixes. Please listen. Please, don't judge me too bad. They was a long time.
Whatever.
Um, but
Oh,
please take a listen to my mixes and come hang, and definitely come hang out wherever I am. You might see I got a few places I looked already. I know you're out of town. So,
is there
definitely follow my stuff.
is there a mailing list or is everything
Yes.
mainly posted
No, no,
on
no. There's a
Instagram?
mailing list, of course.
Okay.
Yes. So if you go to my Instagram, you can go to the link, and it'll give you everything, and so you can just subscribe to my email and my link
Excellent.
tree.
Excellent. I know they will. All right,
And
man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. All right. Bye now.